Welcome to Legal Aid of West Virginia's Family Law Information videos. This video covers the information that needs to be filled out in the worksheet for individual proposed parenting plan. This is a form that you'll fill out and file along with your family court parenting plan in any case that involves a child, like a divorce or in a custody case or a custody modification case. This form is available on the Supreme Court of Appeals website at www.courtswv.gov. This video only provides information, does not provide specific advice to your situation. If you have questions about your situation, you should try to talk to an attorney or you can apply for assistance from legal aid. So at the top, you'll put the name of the county where you're filing or handling your case. If you have a civil action number, because a case has previously been filed, then you would put it there. If not, that's a number the clerk will give you when you file your case. The petitioner is the name of the person who's filing the case. The respondent is the name of the person who's answering. And again, if the case has previously been filed, just copy the same names that are on the case from before. So you'll print your name here as the person who's completing this form, and you'll put the date that you complete the form. The purpose of this form is to give the court a sense of how the parents have shared parenting responsibilities over the last 24 months before you file your case. And the blanks, as you'll see down here in percentages, should always add up to 100. So on this line here, you'll list the name of the children that are involved that you're filling this form out for. And then you will go through these various questions about daily physical needs and care, things like bedtime, wake up, bathing, grooming, dressing, transportation, and put the percentage of time that the petitioner spent on that and the percentage of time that the respondent spent on that. Same thing for B with developmental needs, helping kids learn and be able to develop as children, the percentage of time the petitioner spent on that, percentage of time respondent spent on that. On C, the development of proper behavior, discipline, instructions, chores. Again, petitioner percentage of time, respondent percentage of time. Education decisions is for line D, so who's making school arrangements, signing the kids up for school, communicating with teachers, and supervising homework. The petitioner percentage of time there, the respondent percentage of time. Last but not least, the development of social skills, teaching kids how to behave appropriately, personal relationships with friends and siblings. The percentage of time that the petitioner spends on that and the percentage of time that the respondent spends on that. Again, all of these the percentages should add up to 100. At the top of page 2, you're continuing to fill out information about the percentage of time that the parents spent meeting needs for kids. So on F, it's asking about health care. So the percentage of time that the petitioner spent, making appointments, getting kids to the doctor, and making sure health care needs were met, and the percentage of time the respondent spent on those kind of things. For G, it asks about moral and religious matters. So the percentage of time the petitioner spent on taking kids to church or other religious places and engaging in those discussions with kids, and the percentage of time the respondent spent on those issues as well. Finally, H asks for childcare matters, so the percentage of time the petitioner spent on, setting up babysitters or establishing daycare facilities, and the percentage of time that the parents spent on supervising or communicating with those childcare facilities. You'd fill that out for both the petitioner and the respondent. The next set of questions on page 2 asks about how the parents made major decisions for kids, especially over the last 24 months before the case was filed. So for question 1, it basically asks, from when the parents were making decisions about where the kids will go to school or who their doctor is or what healthcare needs they might need met, if they spoke about those decisions together and came to a conclusion and an agreement, then you would mark yes, they always made those decisions together, those major decisions, and talked it over and came to an agreement. If the parents didn't always do that and one parent was making a lot of those major decisions and the other parent wasn't involved, then you would mark no. So if the answer was yes and the parents were jointly making decisions by talking it over and coming to an agreement, then you don't need to fill out question number 2. But if you answered no here on question 1, then you do need to read on and fill out some more information. So question 2 basically asks, and if you scroll down, the actual answer is on the top of page 3 here, the percentage of time each type of decision was made by one parent or the other parent or together. So the court's trying to get a sense of how often parents were making joint decisions, which is what you would do if it was shared, or how often the petitioner was making the decision on that issue, or how often the respondent was making the decision on that issue. So you'll need to go through and fill this out for education, non-emergency healthcare, religion, childcare, school-related activities, and if there's anything else that might be important that in your case that you want the court to be aware about how decisions were made, whether it was shared or it was made by one of the parties or the other. If you're going to continue on page 3, the middle of page 3 asks for work schedule. So if you're the petitioner, you only need to fill out your work schedule. If you're the respondent, you only need to fill out your work schedule. You don't need to fill out information about the other party. And at the bottom of page 3, it asks for information about the children's current school, after school activities, and sports schedules. Schools do include preschool or kindergarten programs, so you would want to fill out here where the children go, what the time of day is that they're at school, when they come home, how they get there. If they're in any after school or sports activities, you'd want to list that, and if they have a regular schedule for practice or other things, you would want to make sure you list all of that here and the name for the kids. And if you need to supplement that with another piece of paper, if you have multiple kids and they're involved in a lot of things, you can put that information on another piece of paper. If none of your kids attend school, preschool, or kindergarten, they're just younger, then you can mark that here. On page 4, the last page of the worksheet, at the top, you would provide information about where the children may be for childcare other than with the parents. So if the kids go to daycare or they go to grandma's after school, you would put the name of the child and then the place where they go for other childcare. If the children don't go anywhere other than to be with the parents, then you would just mark the box that says none of our children receive childcare from a person other than the parents. Moving down to the middle of the page on other information, you could put anything else here that you want the court to know that might explain how you and the other parent have cared for the children, or how you've shared how you've made decisions, or how you've not shared how you've made decisions. But that information can be added here. If there isn't anything else you want the court to know, then you can leave that blank. At the bottom of the page is the verification, and basically you would write in your name here, and then you would just read through that you're affirming that you're telling the truth and the information you've put in this worksheet is accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief. So you won't actually want to sign here or date this until you're in front of a notary public, because you can see here a notary has to sign this. And you can find a notary at the clerk's office when you go to file your case, at the library, or at a bank. But make sure that you don't sign and date this until you're in front of a notary public. So this worksheet form should be filed when you're filing your proposed parenting plan in either a divorce or custody case where there's children involved. And the next video in this series will provide more information about how to go about filling out the proposed parenting plan.